my bright, chipper self. I will do my best, but no guarantees. It's pretty much SPAC day, boys. Tomorrow is the vote. I expect to see quite a buy-up. Good morning, good morning, good morning. There's a bunch of stuff we're going to be watching today. I do need to go find a pen and fill up my coffee here. So for all of you guys that are quick to the button and you are here right away, thank you for being here. I am just going to go grab a coffee and a writing utensil so I can take down tickers and we can break those down today. I will definitely play. I like to give people a little bit of time to trickle in here, Saki, but I will be right back. You just want to win, don't we all? Don't we all? Oh boy, boy, oh boy, oh boy. We had that Supreme Court thing yesterday. That was kind of interesting. She's gonna take her final oath today. That'll be exciting times, and then we get right back to staring at the election, I think. I will take a look at it today. I actually can't find a pen anywhere, so I'm just gonna open up a notepad and take notes. So Lctx. As always, guys, feel free to shout out whatever tickets you would like me to take a look at and give you my insight on today. I'm more than happy to do that. We will break down everything before I get out of here. We'll probably be sticking around to 11:30 noonish again today, so that will be a good time for sure. Just loading up the marbles here. All right, so the one from yesterday I wasn't a huge fan of. Dark Celestial Abyss. Ooh. Okay, I'm just gonna leave that up for a bit. 920, we'll probably run with it. Ooh, Herlatus with another. Oh, 4 months already. Holy crap! Time flies, man. That's nutty, nutty. Thank you so much. You know I appreciate it. Enjoy that, Beaver. I am really looking forward to adding another emote real soon. Not sure yet who it's gonna be. It's gonna be whoever the biggest player is before the end of the year. Could be ACRX. It could be Space. It could be SPAC. We'll see how it goes. Looking pre-market. Wow, GameStop had quite the fall from glory. It fell from 15 all the way down to 13.45. There was a clear clear put. Oh well. CGC. Everything kind of just took a fall yesterday. Mara is up pre-market to 277. Did SPAQ just get some news? Not that I know of. What are we looking at on SPAQ? It's at 10:30. The vote's tomorrow. The vote's tomorrow on SPAQ, guys. And it's gonna drive it all day. Who knows how high it goes, but expect it to just run today. And then tomorrow on the vote, expected to run again, and then possibly the next day as well, depending. Do I think AMD is a buy with the new info? Okay, so AMD is on the list. I've got 2 on there right now, guys. I promise anybody shuts out a stock, I do throw it up here on the board and I do take a look at it. So am I planning on holding SPAC until Thursday plus? I am planning on holding SPAC through today at least. Beyond that, guys, I don't really like to give my exits. I think ultimately there's 3 schools of thought on this. Take average size profits into the vote tomorrow. Take slightly larger profits and try to exit and profit take at a reasonable time and get a little bit more profit out of it. Or hold past Thursday and try to squeeze as much juice from the orange as you can. What is up? What is up? What is up? Those of you that have been here a while know me. You probably know which of those 3 options I'm going to take. I try not to get too greedy. I try to keep a win. But again, at the same time, who doesn't like their tendies, right? Everybody likes their tendies. Again, my PT on it is $25. That's kind of where I'm hoping it'll go to. So we'll see. ACRX is looking super tasty, by the way, back at $1.67. Like $1.67 bid on ACRX is just too freaking tasty. Good morning, good morning, good morning. All right, we already have the map for marbles picked out, so go ahead and hit play if you haven't already. Let's I think I'll join you guys this morning. Remember, guys, winner gets to pick which ticker we watch heading into the market. You will be brawling me, of course, as always. Make sure you get in if you want a chance to watch your ticker as we head into the market. As always, guys, if you have a ticker that you want me to be watching or breaking down for you throughout the day, feel free to drop that into chat and I will add it to the list for the day. But without further ado, let's get going. Robbie, I think you just missed the cut. I think it just missed. All right, so we got this large tube of doom. Everybody's heading on down. Lctx might take it today. You'll see that we got a lot of sub guys. Again, huge thank you to all the subs guys. The channel is at all-time highs for subs. You guys are rocking it. We all love our beer money, right? I really appreciate what you guys have done with that. I know it's small support, but it means a lot. So a huge thank you to all you guys that are doing that. I only say that because I'm looking at this race and it's pretty much subs. Lctx here, man. Resident Creeper. Millennial. Saki really wants to win one, guys. Saki would really like to win one. Okay, so there's like this cool tube here that goes up. And then it's going to drop us in this pit. Is that what happens? And then where does the pit go? Oh, the pit goes down. Okay. I was like, I don't see how we get to these tubes from this. All right. It's just a race for the middle. Oh, that thing speeds up as you get closer to the middle. I see. I see what's happening here. Oh, Rampage does it. Beats everybody to it. That is an awesome question, Crimson. So the way that I price target is I actually take a look at the last 5 years of history on the stock. If the stock is relatively new, so they're a SPAC or an IPO, what I will do is I will find a counterpart in the industry that I feel has a similar offering, similar size, similar style of company. So think Ford and GM, right? Like kind of getting a feel for like to like, and I'll price off of that. Now the timing of it, the timing is a little bit of a loosey goosey. Each person that does their timing, if you're a TA, you're going to use the charts to come to a timing on it. As an FA trader, for me, I trade on the news. So for me, it's when I think that news is going to play out. But that's how I come to that. So I look at traditional price history. I look at similar companies in their industry. I then lay out my timeline and how big I think the news is going to run for any given company, and then I set a price target based off of that. So ACRX, for example, I've got a price target of 10. That's because they already have an approved FDA drug, and most bio companies, when they approve FDA drug, are worth anywhere from $10 to $15. ACRX just hasn't done that, and I think as the sales increase on it, Eric O'Fallon, you win, sir. Give me your ticker and we will go in. ACRX, as we head into Q4 and they show that they are actually selling this thing like gangbusters, I think we see it go up to that 10-15 mark. That's my thought on it. Hopefully that answers your question there. Good morning, man. Sorry to hear about the freaking margin call. That's nutty. What a piece of shit. Like, I can't, man. Unreal. Can you just add funds? Can you add $58 of funds? They might just automatically close a position on you that you don't want closed. Wow. Yeah, it's probably better you can't hear the Discord at this moment, guys. Yeah, I'll turn on the Discord a little bit later in the day once everybody gets in and says their profanity and kind of settles. But yeah, that's rough here, man. I hate that. I hate that. If you guys don't know, I do hang out. I do the morning call with the stock guy every morning. I'm the bio guy on the call, although I don't really do a ton of bio these days, but I'm the bio guy on the call. And then I hang out pretty much all day with Martina Rita in her Discord. So, yeah. Oh, there you go. There's the TLDR. SPAC is cool with you? Sweet. Let's do SPAC. It's a good SPAC day. Space got news as well, though, guys. SpaceX said Falcon 9 is going to be launching early November, so hopefully Virgin Galactic responds in kind with their date. They've been holding it pretty close to their chest. Yours, mad and rightly so. My PT on SPAC has been 25. Maybe this is a good example. Okay, so this will allow us to. So let's take a look, guys, at some of the other ones in the industry. Okay, so Nikola, Ride, SPAC, Neo. Okay. Again, I go back 5 years on all the charts. Now, some of these it was just recently, right? This one I can leave as this doesn't matter. I can leave it as is. Okay, so Ride is the one that just did this, right? Um, Ride just did this their merger not too long ago. End of September, you'll see that it rose. So from 12.25 up to around that 29 mark, right? Nikola from 11, 12, $13 up to 80. We had Neo run from 327 up to 28. So for me, this is kind of how I'm engaging it. Do I think it's going to go to 80? Probably not. I think Nikola burned a lot of people. A lot of the optimism in the sector was hurt by this. Neo's been a longer hold, and I think China Hustle is one of the reasons for that. Ride is probably the closest comparative, and what you can see here is the initial hype on this has taken it up to about that $17 mark. It peaked at around 20. I honestly think that we see this today and tomorrow do a run similar to this, where it's down around 10, and then into it we see it go up to around that 25-30 mark, and then it'll come back down. That's my thought on it. And I'm using these as comparison, right? Nikola, Ride, Neo, and SPAC. Hopefully that makes sense. We've got 5 minutes till the market open here. So let's just see options portfolio. What are we looking at over there? How are we doing over here? DGLY is up. ACRX is up. ETM is up. Mara's up. Glad I got these $3 calls for June. Yeah, these $3 calls on Mara for June, I think are gonna be fucking gangbusters. Um, Bitcoin ran today, uh, and so Mara in kind is up 278. But remember that Mara just picked up 10,000 more Bitcoin miners. They're going to be pumping the Bitcoins. And with that, with all of those, with that massive farm of Bitcoin mining that's going on, um, I really expect Mara to just run. Pre-market today, it's already up nearly 100,000. Like this is just going to be nutty. I would love for this to go past 3 today. If it just goes up to my strike today, that'd be great. I'll take that. Um, yeah, Mara 780. It's already up 25 cents pre-market. It's up like 10% pre-market already. So that's looking good. I'm gonna get rid of side eye here. I don't need that around anymore. LPL is what I'm going to look at again. ET is what I'm looking at. Matt's here. I think I'm going to get rid of these two, Enox and Elna. They don't really need to be lurking around. T-Mobile, I don't really need here. AMC, I'm going to play. LAC, I'm going to play. Twitter, I'm done with. Honda Motor Company, I don't need here. Nikola, I could care less. Tan, I don't need. Neo, I don't need. Riot, I like Mara better. CGC, I want on here because I might be looking to take a put against it. But this is kind of what I'm watching right now, guys. BlackBerry's doing quite well for itself, keeps floating around that $5 line. So I like what I'm seeing there. Um, yeah, this is kind of the chart. If any of you guys don't know what this chart is, these are pretty much the stocks that I cycle through throughout the day now. iPix is my long bomb COVID play. ACRX is the opioid play that I've got going on. GameStop it is a potential short. I wish I would have shorted it yesterday when it hit 15. I didn't. It came down to 13 today. I think after their Q4 earnings, I'll be looking to take a put against GameStop. I don't think it's gonna have life, but for now, I think I can get rid of it. I'm not gonna do anything with it. Waiter's a play into November. Big fan of Waiter and what they do. That they're down below $3 is fantastic. Um, yeah, I've got about 3 grand in there right now. Hopefully, I can move some SPAC money in between Waiter and ACRX here in the next couple days. BlackBerry, I think, is a long-term play into the AI smart car movement that's coming. DGLY, guys, that one is up pre-market as well from $2 to 205, not massively, but yeah, DGLY, guys, is the play on Thermovision for a second Corona outbreak, as well as body cameras and dashboard cameras that I think are going to be mandated federally and at state level. I think from this point forward, that's just going to be a reality that we have to face. Is that you're going to be required as a police officer to have a camera on, and your dashboard camera is going to have to be on at all times. DGLY provides those services, so I think that they're going to do quite well on their upcoming earnings. I might actually put I might split SPAC 3 ways and put it into DGLY as well. AstraZeneca is my top tier COVID play. I've got calls on them. I may have put my call strike outside the money, just a little too far, but we'll see. We'll see what it does. They start treating people next week. They've announced that they are going to actually start doing AstraZeneca treatments next week, so I'm pretty excited for that. ETM guys, I haven't really looked into it, Timo. I like kind of these low floaters because um, they just have more room to gain, in my opinion. What's up, later? LPL guys is my Apple play. This is the cheap Apple play. Axon, yeah, they're the guys that make Taser. That's the one. LPL guys, LPL is the one that is making the screens for the upcoming iPhone watches and iPads, not the Corningware one, but ET is the pipeline play on the Supreme Court. That's down again today, so I'm really excited about that one. This one looks like a buy the dip opportunity for me. Mattel, I like into Q4, Q1. WPRT, we're waiting on China. SPAQ is today, tomorrow. Wells Fargo is into spring. AMC is into spring. LAC is a long hold, 5-10 years. Mara is a long hold, 6 to 18 months. CGC is a short. That's it. That's what we got on the list. That's what I watch. Now, for those of you that are new here, I'm seeing 45 people in here, and that's fantastic. Welcome if you are new. Feel free at any point, guys, to shout out a ticker that you would like me to break down and take a look at. I do make a list of all the tickers as they get dropped in chat, and then I go through and break down, give you my due diligence on it, give you my thoughts on it, and we go from there. So, SPAC at the gate, up 1028. It's looking really nice. I'm pretty happy with that. Are you looking to let SPAC stew for a few days after the merger, or are you getting out of that following day? I answered that question earlier. I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure about that. The three scenarios again, guys, with SPAC are you get out today or tomorrow and you take minor gains. You get out tomorrow or the next day and you try for a little bit more and try to get out before people take profit. If you hold past that, you really are trying to squeeze the juice from it. So you're saying, as somebody with a disability, I'm not entitled to a universal basic income.
I'm just saying.
Okay, I'm gonna go hot mic on this because this is a good conversation. I the doom and gloom around universal basic income, I don't think needs to be. I think for our country it makes a lot of sense because we only have 30 million people. So for us to introduce a UBI is actually going to be to the benefit of the economy at this point because
Mm.
right now the government's deciding where it's going to spend its money. I would rather give the money to the people and the people decide where they're going to spend their money because the government's doing a piss poor job of it anyway, right? As far as starting first with people with disabilities and people that are when we say disability, we're not just talking like a mental disability, we're talking people that are physically incapable or handicapped. I think that's a good place to start, but I think that you have to start really locking down on what a disability is because there are a lot of people that are not disabled that are claiming disability.
I mean, you've heard me before. I have no issues with paying for certain social benefits for my fellow man and stuff like that because, yeah, I agree. If you can't work or if you can't
Person,
find work,
your
for,
fellow person.
sorry, my fellow, my people person. That those are my nouns. No, I'm just kidding. So what I think is that like I'm very okay with that. Like if they legitimately cannot work for a good reason, not just because they're lazy and because like they just don't think they could find a job. Like again, the argument I made was South Africa. Employment was really difficult there because, well, if you're not a minor, then you're selling skilled services to Amazon or one of the other companies as a not telemarketer, but one of the support staff. However, for the most part, they had a high rate of unemployment that just stayed unemployed, and it got to a point where they just said, "Screw it, we're not going to go to work anymore." And this is basically built in their history. But they also had this thing where the government came in with government assistance. This is back when all the miners and gold miners and stuff like that, the money that they made from
Diminishing
gold
volume here,
mines,
guys.
because it was
This is
half
interesting.
government owned, like half privately owned, the money that they made from that was well enough to support their social programs. However, the problem with that was that when you have mass unemployment and a essentially disincentivization to actually go back to work, none of them actually went back to work. They're
MACD's
basically
got
getting
no
paid to
sign
stay
of
at home
slowing
and
on.
do whatever the hell they want. And that was very evident when essentially it just eroded to this point where for every one working person, there was three that weren't working, were just collecting social
My
benefits.
DCA is 1174,
And
man. You
when they
got
were
better
looking
entry
at the
than I do.
statistics asides towards it, they did notice that whenever like the government assistance kind of dried up for that individual, they saw an uptick in the workforce. Now, the fallback they had was that they could always go find a labor job because labor jobs are dime a dozen there. But this was also before COVID, and eventually it eroded because they had an argument over wage, similar to what we're having now. Their GDP didn't really support it back then. Uh, Ours is kind of like, I don't know what our balance of trade is right now. Like, I just saw the last 2 years and it was positive, but this year we're going to a huge negative. So I don't know, because they're expecting 2021 to have a recovery in our GDP. So maybe we could support it, but like I currently don't see it, and like I'm looking at the source information to argument for this person. Um, they're not really math oriented. They're not economically or finance oriented. They're making more of a argument from like a health perspective, which is fine. But we're just talking at the core of it. We're talking about money. So I'd rather prefer this kind of like thing come from someone who actually deals with money in some sort of capacity. Because as I read through this, this is all talking about like inequality and all the usual like buzzwords that I hate.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a social theme behind something like that, and I understand why that's there.
Mm.
Um, Fiscally, the UBI makes sense for Canada. I don't know that it makes as much sense to me for the US, just given the sheer size of their population, and that there's a lot of kind of muddy waters between state funding and federal funding.
Mm.
They just run differently than we do. But when we're talking about 30 million people across a massive expanse like Canada, and the government's already screwing the pooch as far as how they're spending their money, I think UBI makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. I think what you're going to see is um, sectors that the government thinks would do well, like green energy, won't do well.
Mm.
I think you're going to see a lot more money flow into sectors that they may not necessarily be a big fan of, but that's the people speaking. For me, I like that better. Of like, my only issue with that is that the government starts to consider all income comes from the government, right? Like it's mother government.
Yeah.
That's my only big red flag on it. But ultimately, that's already the
And
case in Canada.
and
So
that was the issue with South Africa because like in almost every line it says that, oh yeah, South Africa was doing this because they had an advantage there until the government messed it up.
yeah, I don't know, guys. SPAC is showing good volume. The SPAC is showing really good volume right now. These are 5 minute candles that I'm looking at here. I know you guys are a real fan of watching on the tick or watching on the minute, but there will be people that want to keep this down until tomorrow. I expect to see that. Do you see any massive levels on SPAC? I would assume that there's one at 11.
Oh, you're asking me? I didn't know. Say, give me a second.
Yeah.
There was something for ET this morning too, by the way. I see. Well, the biggest cluster of orders I see is like right around 1150.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
1250 and so forth.
Yeah, every dollar thereafter. No matter what, guys, I think that this just runs on the day. I mean, what's the SPY up to today? Is it still being a little douchebag
Down.
here? No, no, it's up
Is it up though? Oh yeah, it is up from yesterday.
from yesterday. Yeah.
Got to remember, I'm in an inverse spy ticker right now.
What do you mean when you say levels? Um, Picture if you can. When you guys are looking at these charts, right? You see this great big chart here. Okay, let's get out the drawing tools here. So let's just say you could see all of the orders that people had locked in, right? Their stop loss and their purchases, right? The ones that just sit out there, good till canceled, they're out there forever. We're talking the big boys, right? Not the little guys like you and I, but the big boys that are out there. Okay. Well, I mean, the levels is just like, okay, well, I see a big buyer here. I see a big buyer here. I see a big seller here. I see a big seller here. The more that you know kind of where those places are, the more that you can understand the movement of the stock as it comes to that buy level or that sell level. And typically, when it's moving down, you're looking for buyers to bring it back up, and you're looking at the sellers as it moves up to take it back down a little bit. So, like you saw here, we saw it rise to almost $11, and then there was a sell, right? And a sizable sell. So for me, it's like, okay, when I'm asking, where are the levels, what I'm asking is, okay, where are the big boys that are going to move this, stall the movement, or if you blow through a massive seller. So let's say we're moving up like this, right? And there's a massive seller at $11, and you see the price just shoot right through $11. That means that there's a lot of strength in that buying, and it completely bought up whoever was in the way and moved past it. So it just gives you a bit more of a feel for where things are going, which is why, for those of you that are on the morning call, this is why this information on levels is so crucial. And a lot of people don't appreciate it, but it's kind of a big deal. Where do I see Ford? I see Ford somewhere in a ditch 10 years from now. I don't really like Ford. They stopped innovating about 25 years ago, and they've never really come back to it. So as soon as a company stops innovating, especially in an industry like tech or automotive, you die, which is what's happened. It's just been a slow bleed, but they're dying. They just don't know it yet. Somebody needs to tell them. Um, all right. Let's see here. Mara's up 8% from yesterday.
Wait, what's this? TikTok invest in social commerce via new Shopify
Great Arcade, thanks
partnership.
for the follow, man. Much appreciated. What was that?
Yeah, Ria's gonna wake up happy with this. Shopify had a really nice recovery there.
My options aren't moving. ACRX is up. That's got good options interest. But I guess Mara moved up a little bit, but I mean it's headed towards $3 right now. I
Wait,
really want to.
was there an election in Ontario yesterday?
There was a by-election, yeah.
For
3 seats, 1 in Ottawa, 2 in Toronto. Toronto won both Liberal seats.
huh.
I mean, at this point, it doesn't really matter. Am I buying the dip on space? No, I'm not going to screw around with space. I mean, my DCA on space is really good. I'm really happy with the entry that I took on space. Where is it? It's 1870. So I'm still green despite this dip, guys. Like I've got a 1760 entry on this. I've got about 30% of my portfolio in it. I don't need to add more than that. I'm happy with that. And again, it's just waiting on news, right? In my mind, when I bought at 17, it was just hold this until the news drops and play the news. Just because it hasn't dropped yet and the market is, I mean, trigger happy on everything, doesn't mean I'm going to start evacuating because space didn't announce it and their window's open and it should have opened. Now, my DD and hope was as soon as the window was open, they'd pull the trigger and go to give investor confidence. They have not done that. Rev Mosca, thanks for the follow. Appreciate that. But it doesn't change the DD on the play, right? The DD on the play is when they announce the launch date, it will go up. Hold the stock until the launch and then make your play, make your call, right? Same thing as the SPAC play that we're looking at right now. You guys need to make a decision. Do I play it right up into the day of the launch? Do I play it on the day of the launch? Do I play it after the launch? That's all up to you guys. I know for me, space launches make me a little bit wary because something can go wrong and then people die and the stock disappears, right? Especially space. Space is really the one where you would not want something to go wrong in a big way. It, you know, God forbid anything happen to one of the Dragon crafts that's carrying astronauts into space, but that would be more like a Challenger thing. Like that's not going to cripple SpaceX. It would be they'd find what's wrong and then go back. But if space were to have a malfunction, if the flight were to crash for any reason, um, that company would be out of business because they're talking commercial travel, and wealthy people that are going to spend $250,000 on a ticket to go to space don't want to die. And if something bad were to happen, space would plummet as a result. So yeah, it's kind of what we're looking at there. So for me, like holding on to it through the launch is kind of sphincter clenching for me. The less wealthy won't want to die, but they're not the customers that they're targeting, right? Who here is buying a space ticket?
So the first one, definitely.
Planes are the safest mode of transportation statistically. Um,
Space is never on my agenda.
I'll trade the hype, right? Like I like trading the psychology, and I understand the psychology of the people that are hyped for it, right? New sector, exciting, it's cutting edge, it's what's coming down the pipeline. A lot of people are talking about, and it doesn't seem like it's gonna go away this time because we're talking about Tesla doing it, and we're talking about Virgin doing it, and we're talking about Boeing doing it. It looks like this is kind of a real push for space again. But again, I'm not trading the actual technicals of it. I'm not looking at rocket specs and going, oh yeah, this will work really well and they'll be able to do this. And I don't care about any of that. All I care about is that the retail traders in the market really, really like it and they throw money at it. So that's what I'm trading. It's the psychology and the hype. It's like when you bet on a major sporting event like the Super Bowl, right? There's a massive influx of money the first couple of days before the game. 6 months before the Super Bowl, everybody knows when the Super Bowl is going to happen, but nobody's really betting on the Super Bowl. The day or two before the Super Bowl actually gets played, though, you see all kinds of money flow in. It's the same kind of thing that I do with most of the stocks here is understanding the hype, understanding the market sentiment towards it, and playing that market sentiment. That's how I've created my portfolio. That's how I continue to trade my portfolio. It's a little bit different from some FA traders, but it's ultimately the same concept of you read the news, you assess the news, you make your play off of that. For me, though, I just go the step further of I read the news and then I assess, okay, how are people going to process this? Is this going to be a bullish sentiment attached to this news or a bearish sentiment? Looks like AMC gave up all those losses, all those gains that they had. I'm glad people really bought into AMC opening more theaters is a good thing. Up 5% pre-market and it's gone.
Are we still hot mic'd?
Yeah, I cannot hot mic you though. There. I, I'm gonna work on my golf game. I have always wanted to drive a ball 10,000 yards. Um, so that's kind of what I'm gonna do. I'm a tee up. I'm gonna Happy Gilmore that bitch, and I'm gonna send it to Mars. First golf ball to Mars. That's what I'm aiming for. Oh, sweet. So it's a race to Mars. I like it. I mean that's it for me. It's like when Elon threw his car into space, guys. That's when I realized that this was a thing because it's like, oh, people are actually having fun with space. It's not boring science stuff anymore. It's like the kids are playing in space. This is going to become a thing. Paintball on the moon. I mean, my medication takes me to space every night. Zero G paintball. I'm just worried about it ripping the suit. You know, you got to give me that paintball shield. Make sure that you don't die in space. But yeah, I mean, they found water on the moon. You can find water deposits on the moon, then you can start to work towards atmosphere and farming, um, which would be an interesting development to have an atmosphere on the moon.
Way too many years.
Yeah, I'll be 50, but by that time, I suspect that we'll have cyborg implants, and I'll be able to live until I'm 800. So just start printing out new. I mean, we're already printing out organs. It's like, oh, I need new organs, no problem. Careful though, don't drink moon water. Needs a large sign. Don't drink moon water. You want to become Venom? That's how you get Venom. All right. Waiter's down again. Oh, I just want my freaking tendies. Just give me the SPAQ tendies so I can move it into waiter. Agreed, Mighty Pawn. Compounding gains on an 800-year investment. Tasty. But I think once you eliminate death, um, value of objects shifts in a massive way, right? If you know you're going to live for 800 years, and you just start tucking away dollars for 800 years from now. But I think inflation takes a different shape when nobody's dying. I think that's when we start the gladiatorial battles. We start to see Thunderdome. 2 millennials enter, 1 man leaves.
At that point, you either go to different solar systems or you just overpopulate and everybody kills each other.
Yep. I like the Thunderdome concept of it. I'm gonna be dead by the time that happens, but to my great 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 grandson, may the odds be ever in your favor. All right, guys, you want me to break down Lctx and AMD, so I'm going to take a look at those. If you guys have stocks you want me to take a look at, please feel free to throw them in chat. I will take a look at them, give you my insight, my breakdown on them. But yeah, we'll throw the disclaimer in here before I get going. I am not a financial professional. Good morning, Jacob. I am not a professional financial trader, advisor in any way. Anything that I throw out here is simply to educate you as to how I look at my trades and the plays that I make, and potentially how you can do the same. I would never recommend that you take the trades that I take. In fact, I often warn people to stay the hell away from the trades that I take because it's utter insanity. But the reality is this, guys: make your own decisions, do your own due diligence. This is about educating you guys into how I look at specific stocks and how I trade them. For those of you that are wondering about credibility, I do trade real dollars. I don't trade funny money. I've never been a fan of that concept of trading funny money. This portfolio started with 2,200 US at the start of the year. Current value is 26,000 and change, almost $27,000. So decent gain so far on this. I think it's about 1,300, 1,400% I'm up on the year. So that's that there. I think I'm up 400% on my options portfolio that I started at the start of the year. So, small gains here and there. I know people see the red here and they're like, oh, it's red. Yeah, okay. Remember that the starting number was 2,200 and it's not so scary. That being said, though, let's head on in. Let's take a look at. what was it? Lctx. So, guys, I really started building out this portfolio by trading biopharmaceuticals. So, a lot of people that have been here for a long time, they know that I'm fairly knowledgeable about biopharmaceutical trading. I've done the due diligence. I know how to do a breakdown of a medical report. I understand the pipeline and how that works, as well as understanding how to look in the financials. So, I'll walk you guys through this process. I know that this gets a bit repetitive for those of you guys that have seen it before, but it's still important for everybody that's considering trading bio. That bio is boring, so tough. Deal with it. You have to go through these steps and processes, otherwise you're going to get burned on it in a big way. So for me, right away, when you see a biostock that's sub $10, you know that they don't have an approval. They're working on their first drug or treatment. Okay, so keep that in mind. This is a high risk play, extremely high risk. A lot of these companies just fizzle and die. You never see them do anything. Okay, lung cancer vaccine, cell therapies. Okay, so they do degenerative diseases, Opgen, a retinal pigment epithelium cell replacement therapy. So this is for vision. This is to fix vision. Yeah, so it looks like this is a cell replacement therapy. Okay, so this is looking to actually fix blindness, which is why it's such a big deal. Um, yeah, I mean, military budgets come out end of November. So as soon as the new government's put in at the start of November, the military budgets will be approved at the end of the month. Yeah, for me, I would stay away from this. I would stay away from this. A lot of phase one, a lot of early pipeline stuff, a lot of who knows what's going to happen and what's going to go on. Again, guys, when you're dealing with sensitive issues like eyes, brains, anything that's birth control, a lot can go wrong really quickly. And if you start making people completely blind that were partially blind, or there are some serious adverse effects, you risk a huge blow up. And when you're a small company like this, you could die as a company. Not people being treated, but as a company. So for me, that's kind of where I'm at with that. I wouldn't go anywhere near that. I wouldn't trade it myself. Hopefully that helps. AMD is the other one. So AMD is looking to acquire Xilinx. I think that's just them trying to. So SOX is the ETF for semiconductors. Yeah, I don't know. For me, it feels like no news. You know what I mean? No, that is not a normal thing to happen. That, in my opinion, could be a huge buy the dip. Is this all that their pipeline has been? Is that the entirety of their pipeline? Okay, so they already have this.
Jesus, these ETM down 6% today. Like, what the fuck happened? So positive on it though.
I think that's a buy the dip on Cala, to be honest. I think that's a serious buy the dip opportunity on Cala. For sure, cut them out. In my opinion, I would, if I had capital, which is what I just switched over. I switched over to my screen to see if I had capital. I don't have capital at the moment, but that's a huge mistake. When a small company like this gets approval on something like that, I definitely take note. I think that was a huge mistake if the stock is actually down. All right, guys, I need to get some water. My throat is starting to go and my lungs are starting to hurt again. So I'm just going to get some water, do a couple staircase runs, and I will be right back. Yeah, that looks like a buy the dip in my opinion on Cala for it to be down that much on approval. Let's go to tip ranks and see what's going on there. Cala. That's pretty crazy. Into the end of the day, it'll buy up. I'm not even worried about SPAQ. What I'm trying to decide here is what do I do I think I may exit my Acrx just because there's no movement on this until early November. But there's no rush on Kala either. I don't know that I need to do that to get into Kala. It's definitely going on my watch list though. It should not be. It should not be down like that on an approval. Let's see if somebody knows more than I do about what's going on here. All right, so it seems like the concerns around this is Kala's ability to sell the drug. Which is similar to what took Acrx down. It's just a thing. If you are incapable of selling your product effectively to the market, all right, guys, we can go break down the news. See if there's any relevant news. This Tiffany's Louis Vuitton lawsuit keeps popping up in my feed, keeps grabbing my attention. I'm fairly certain Tiffany goes through on it, which is great. Pot stocks getting cut. I need that for my CGC puts. I took CGC puts at 14. It's at 18 right now. My thoughts on CGC, guys, are my thoughts on CGC are if Trump wins the election, this thing just blows up. It goes right back down to the ground because the Republicans have made it quite clear that they are not going to leave this pot. That will not happen. So in the event that the Democrats do not get through, there's a huge opportunity, I think, for these overextended pot stocks to just fall right down to reality. Yeah. For this to come back down to this level, if Biden and Harris don't take it, it's going to be a big deal. SPAC's still up 2% on the day. I'm okay with that. Let's see who the major runners are today. GOED, 94%. Scholar Rock, Harley Davidson, Harbor Custom. Not a lot of, I mean, Harley Davidson's a thing, but let's see what the heat map has for us. Just a reminder, guys, tomorrow I will most likely not be around. Wednesdays are just one of those days. I might go live, I might not, but just If you don't see me tomorrow, don't be surprised. Wednesdays are a day where I tend to just yell at the wall for a long time. And nobody likes to watch me just yell at a wall for an hour. Wednesdays just typically are a nothing day. Now SPAC is tomorrow, so I may be around just for that to see how it does. Buying up into the vote. I'm not sure when the vote is going to be exactly. Let's take a look here. 11 a.m. Okay, so I mean, I do kind of need to be around then, I guess, for that. Fisker to hit the ground running with $1 billion of cash on its balance sheet. I mean, $1 billion ain't bad. It ain't bad. They don't need to build infrastructure. Remember, Nikola, that was the big thing with Nikola, is they needed to build infrastructure, and I didn't think that they had the cash to do that. These guys don't. They're just building an EV. I think they're going to be okay. What's this? I guess I'm a shareholder and I could vote on this, huh? I just don't think I need a vote. Yeah, so I mean, it'll be a buy up tomorrow into that. I think the vote's going to go through. We'll see it spike on the day. 11 is an interesting time though, because it's heading into lunch. I definitely think it buys up here. End of day. I think we see it run. Let's see here. What are the fine folks over at SPAC having to say? Yeah, sorry, this is StockTwits that I'm on. This is just a place where traders can come and discuss different stocks. Fisker tweeted. Fisker. I probably have a voting card in my mailbox. I'm just too lazy to go get it. To be honest, I'm just too lazy to go get the damn thing. I don't need to vote. It's going through. There's no way that it doesn't go through. Um, 538. Let's check out the polls and see how we're looking on the polls here. For those of you guys that don't know this website, this is 538. It does a full selection of the most recent polls. I don't know that I had ownership as of October 1st, so maybe that's why. I typically like to make it A only. I don't like to have B's in here. All right, so let's see what we got here. Yesterday, general election, Trump up. Wow, really? The hell? Oh, Texas. Okay, I was gonna say, New York Times had Trump winning. What? But this is Texas. In Texas, Siena College and the New York Times had Trump winning. So based off of 800 Texas voters, Trump is going to win the election. U.S. Senate looks like it's going to be a Republican Senate. It's very interesting how they list this, that Trump is up by 4, but they only show Biden. Alabama, again, Republicans are up. For some reason, this is just showing that Biden's only ahead by 5 points. Yeah, guys, if you haven't voted and you're an American, make sure to go do that because it's kind of a big deal, I think. What else am I looking at here? I want the Vegas odds, right? Vegas odds election. Okay. Interesting. Check that out. The sports books have Biden as the favorite, but there are twice as many bets on Trump winning.
Okay, so somebody give me the TLDR on how AMD blows.
Because they also announced that they're acquiring Xilinx. It's a semiconductor company. So they announced that they're buying them for $30 billion, which has people going, okay. I just gave it a cursory glance. It wasn't my sector, so I didn't really do a deep dive. Let's see. Yeah, 35 billion. Yep. It is hot mic'd at the moment, Martini. I can not hot mic. Actually, I am going to mute just in case. You're just waking up. But yeah, I'm just making it so the stream can't hear you, just in case you're getting revved up. But 35 billion is what they're spending on it, so I think that's what people's problem is. Do you think you could actually embarrass me? Do you think that's possible? Here, I'll unmute you.
By the way, Rita, Shopify has a partnership with TikTok.
If I could go balls deep into TikTok, I would. God.
Yeah, Jacob, you need to hang out with Martini and talk. Apparently, you've worked for a lot of these tech companies. You two would be peas in a pod. It was really nice yesterday. Martini had to read through some medical reports for some data that she was looking for, and it was a really nice feeling to hear somebody actually go through and read those reports and realize how much fun that is.
You mean how I fell asleep?
Yeah.
Inadvertently?
Yeah. The two known cures for what is that called when you can't go to sleep? It's not narcolepsy. That's the wrong one.
Insomnia.
Insomnia. Cure for insomnia? Bio reports. You want to go right to sleep? You read yourself a nice biopharmaceutical application to the FDA. It'll put you right out. Motley Fool says PayPal would do well to develop its own cryptocurrency.
I just read, before I got out of bed, I just read 20 pages of the every CRS report on semiconductors in prep to break down AMD.
It looks.
Why did they buy this Xilinx?
I don't know. They want to move outside just graphics cards and move into semiconductors as well. I don't know. Bigger, better, stronger, faster. The real men do dope. Appreciate that.
Is this a buy the dip thing?
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely is.
Yura, any thoughts?
Or what? I did not hear the question.
Any thoughts on them buying Xilinx? Is that how I pronounce it? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know that company, so no thoughts. Sorry. They must be doing something right if they're paying $35 billion for them, but no, I don't know.
Somebody's liking ACRX in the options. It's my options are up $185 today, even though the stock's not really moving that much. That's 2 weeks out, right? So, the upcoming quarterly earnings for ACRX, the consensus on revenue is that they made less money than they did in the previous quarter.
I'm sorry, what?
The consensus revenue estimate on ACRX heading into their earnings for this quarter is that they made $10 million less than they did in the previous quarter.
Oh, shit.
Like, I'm gonna go with no. Gonna go with no on that one, I think. And the funny thing is, all the articles that I'm reading, they're just quoting that one. If I ever meet this guy, he and I are gonna have some words. This Evan Seigerman guy from Credit Suisse. He's the only one that they quote. Credit Suisse is still super bearish on ACRX. It's not a thing. Listen, everybody else, if you take him out, is in that same $10 to $15 ballpark. Like, the one guy from Credit Suisse that says it's an 87-cent stock is the only guy that's keeping this thing down. I just, it drives me bonkers. You've got 3 companies selling this drug now. You think sales are going to go down 10 million? Okay.
I think I'm going to go vote right now.
Make it count.
Hopefully I don't get corona. We'll see.
Yeah, vote Darth Vader. Remember, the Force is strong with that one.
If coronavirus is airborne, then are masks useless?
I mean, I've always had kind of the same opinion on masks, that masks are about you not contaminating other people, not the other way around.
I'm not talking about my utility. I'm talking about utility in period.
Yeah, I'm talking about tools. I'm talking about you have witnessed firsthand how utterly useless masks are as far as them being applied properly, proper sanitization, efficacy. Like it's a surface. A mask is a surface. Um, you're seeing surface contact to surface contact. You're seeing people not using masks properly. People wearing masks down below their nose. You're seeing people coughing all over the mask, the inside of the mask, and then taking the mask off to adjust it or play with it, and then touching all the surfaces that you're touching. I just don't know in a closed environment where you're putting people through like a voting booth. I don't know that a mask is going to be a solution, especially as I see people go into voting booths and like they're going to pull down their mask a little bit so that they can see better and their glasses aren't fogging up or whatever. I think you've got a ton of surface contact happening there. Now, I guarantee they're going to be sanitizing those stations. I don't know if they're going to sanitize after every vote, but I think there will be an element of sanitization there. But the question is like, is the mask going to keep me safe at a voting station? Not fucking likely. You're better sanitizing, applying gloves, and going in.
You should just do it outside.
Yeah, I mean, wrap it up before you vote. That would be my opinion. If you were genuinely concerned about contracting it at a polling station, it would be before you go in, sanitize yourself, put on a mask, put on a pair of gloves, go in, vote, and then burn everything that you touched.
I mean, gloves isn't really a big deal as long as you wash your hands after. I don't know. Don't touch your fucking face.
Yeah, I mean, right now, the only thing keeping the Canadian government in place is that people don't want to go for a vote right now during the second wave. So that's the only thing that stopped them from doing a non-confidence vote here in Canada to remove the prime minister. Is that nobody wants to go to an election right now. Yeah, I mean that's a big thing too, Ghost Orb. There are a lot of people that are just done with masks. They're done with it. Texas, I've seen the pictures and the lines, and there are a ton of MAGA hats and no masks. So it's definitely a thing.
I just don't understand how the greatest industrial power on the fucking planet, how we didn't just tell everyone to print out masks. I mean, we're 8 months in. God.
I think I would contest that you're the greatest industrial power on the planet. But yeah, you do have the capability in industry to print masks for yourself for sure. I think China takes you guys to task as far as industry goes at this point. That baton has been passed.
You're thinking of manufacturing. Industry not only includes manufacturing, it also includes services.
I would still, I think I would still give the crown to Mr. Winnie the Pooh over there.
Numbers don't lie, so look them up.
What number would I look at for that?
GDP, you would have to look up total manufacturing numbers, you'd have to look up total service numbers, you'd have to look up basically troll all over the Federal Reserve site and the IMF and possibly the World Bank to get that, because that's the only way to get China numbers.
Okay.
Either way, I have to go for a little bit.
All right, cool. Yeah, China
I'll
is
be
the
back in
world's
like
largest industrial output,
30 minutes.
followed by the U.S. This is not surprising. Japan in third surprises me, for sure. The spread and mortality of swine flu was significantly smaller than COVID. AstraZeneca is already treating people in the UK as of next week. They are starting to dose doctors and nurses, frontline staff and medical staff starting next week in the UK. So I think the dominoes start to fall real quick on that. You see AstraZeneca being rapidly adopted across the EU by the end of November. And then I think at that point, depending on who wins the election, we'll see which company gets the nod in the US. But I think if Europe is seeing success with the administration of the vaccine from AstraZeneca, the US is going to kind of question, well, do we wait for an American company or do we just let AstraZeneca take it? They do have an agreement for from AstraZeneca, but not enough for the entirety of the US. They're hoping on their other companies, the Pfizer's and the Modernas, to deliver. Just trying to see if I can find how much the US is buying. Maybe it's in this article. Again, I want to see. Yeah, the older age group it has shown positive effect on, but again, the trials at Oxford are being done against the strain in Europe, which is a very different strain from the one in the US and the one in Asia. So for me, that we're seeing a strong immune response in Europe is great because there is a second wave hitting Europe, and I'm happy for you guys. But whether or not it will have the same efficacy when it comes over to North America is a completely different thing. You can't. It's not one size fits all, right? Their phase 3 is a global group. Okay. A 100,000 doses is all that the U.S. has signed up for with AstraZeneca, which is a drop in the bucket, right? Very, very interesting stuff. Not a ton happening here, guys. Not a lot of news today. Not a lot of movement. Saved by the Bell reboot?
Sorry, Dr. Mama.
How do you think this year's gonna go for these new students?
I'm psyched.
You're excited for the first day of school? Why is everybody so rich?
Are you ready for my party Saturday night?
I got DJ Khaled's Baby to make you a playlist. It's okay.
Time out. What is up with these kids?
Bass act? Where I finally felt like I belong. This place is magic. Damn, I love magic! Hey, Max, actually, I ordered cheese on mine. Take a look in your pocket. Does this place ever stop being weird? A 1, 2, 3.
Yep, well, there's that. Childhood ruined. Fantastic. Anything for a cash grab, right? Jurassic World the game. We're gonna be happy. Bitcoin's on its way to 15,000. That's crazy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it feels like it's slowing down here. It has been an amazing day hanging out with you guys. I don't see anything imminent really coming in. I think I probably will swing through tomorrow, hang out till 11 when the SPAC thing happens. But beyond that, I don't think I'll be staying very long on Wednesday, just because Wednesday is it's Wednesday. It's F Wednesday and F Wednesday, you know. I'm gonna send you over to the stock guy. He can tell you guys how to refinance your mortgage. Enjoy that. It is important, guys. If you haven't already refinanced your mortgage and you are a guy that has a mortgage or a lady who has a mortgage, then do that. But later.